Are you ready to discover the secrets of controlling your sexual desires? With this unique technique that very few people know, you will learn how to satisfy your desires. This method will reveal the deepest secrets of your life. If you are ready, embark on this mysterious journey and discover all the unknowns. In this video, we will discuss how to satisfy your sexual needs from a Stoic perspective. You will see that sexuality is not only a need, but also a means of achieving mental and spiritual balance. Are you ready to learn how to establish balance in your life by controlling your sexual energy? We invite you to meet these secrets that very few people know. 1. The power of sex and sexuality in understanding natural needs. Sex and sexuality are one of the most basic and natural needs of human life. Although it can sometimes be difficult to talk about these issues in society, in reality, these needs are extremely important for living a healthy life. Stoic philosophy emphasizes how critical it is to accept a person's natural tendencies and needs for the balance of life. Sexual needs are not only a means of physical satisfaction, but also a way of achieving mental and emotional balance. Understanding and managing this balance helps us find balance and peace in other areas of our lives. Stoics do not see sexuality as a taboo. On the contrary, they teach us how to control this natural need by being aware of it. Understanding and managing sexuality correctly is the key to both individual happiness and healthy relationships. Accepting that sexual needs are natural opens the way to being at peace with them instead of suppressing them. This helps us maintain both our mental and physical health. 2. Techniques for controlling and directing sexual energy. Sexual energy is one of the strongest and most intense emotions of humans. When directed correctly, this energy can help us achieve great success in different areas of life. Stoicism teaches the art of controlling sexual energy and directing it towards more constructive and meaningful goals. Sexual energy can turn into not only a physical desire but also a spiritual power. This transformation increases the individual's inner peace and quality of life. Stoic philosophy allows us to understand how we can manage this energy and use it for higher purposes. Like other energies in our lives, sexual energy can be harmful when left uncontrolled. Therefore, directing it consciously is critical for both individual development and achieving balance in relationships. The Stoics argue that controlling sexual energy strengthens our emotional intelligence and makes us more conscious individuals. This control helps us make more conscious and balanced decisions in every aspect of our lives. 3. Finding inner peace and satisfaction beyond sexuality. Inner peace and satisfaction require a search for balance beyond sexuality. While the Stoics accept that sexuality has an important place in our lives, they emphasize that true peace and satisfaction do not come only from physical pleasures. This peace is achieved by establishing a balance in one's inner world, thoughts and emotions. Although sexuality is a part of life, it is not the source of lasting happiness. Therefore, from the Stoic perspective, instead of seeing sexuality as just a tool, we approach it with a deeper understanding. This understanding helps us find satisfaction and meaning in other areas of life. Moving beyond sexual satisfaction allows a person to focus on their spiritual and mental development. Stoics argue that this development encourages the individual to live a stronger and more balanced life. This search for inner peace and satisfaction directs the individual to live a more conscious and aware life. This deepens and enriches the person's relationships with themselves and their surroundings. 4. Mental and spiritual balance of sex and sexuality. Sexuality is not just a physical experience in human life, it is also at the center of a mental and spiritual balance. Stoics deeply examine this aspect of sexuality and teach us how to harmoniously bring together the desires of the body with the needs of the mind and soul. This is a critical step for both individual development and emotional balance. Mental balance begins with the individual's ability to control their thoughts, feelings, and desires. Sexuality is an important part of this balance because physical desires are intertwined with mental processes. Understanding and managing sexuality correctly helps the mind gain more control over these processes. Spiritual balance means finding harmony and peace in one's inner world. Achieving this balance prevents sexual desires from conflicting with spiritual needs. Stoics argue that achieving this balance contributes to a happier and more satisfying life by preserving both one's spiritual and physical health. Controlling sexual desires and needs is not only a matter of discipline, but also a path to inner freedom. This freedom allows the individual to be at peace with himself and to obtain more meaning and satisfaction from life. Being aware of sexual desires requires consciously managing them rather than suppressing them. While Stoic philosophy examines sexuality within moral and ethical frameworks, it teaches the individual to know his own limits and how to satisfy his desires without exceeding these limits. This not only controls sexual desires, but also paves the way for using them for a higher purpose. Finding mental and spiritual balance through sexuality deepens and strengthens the individual's relationships with both himself and his environment. This balance helps the individual to find and maintain balance in his life. Thus, sexual desires are seen not only as a means of physical satisfaction, but also as an opportunity for spiritual and mental development. 5. Establishing an emotional connection in sexual relationships from a Stoic perspective. Sexual relationships are not limited to physical satisfaction. Establishing emotional connections is also one of the most important elements of these relationships. Stoics argue that a deep emotional bond lies at the core of a healthy sexual relationship. This bond ensures the development of trust, love, and understanding between two individuals, thus the relationship goes beyond just physical union. Emotional connection deepens the meaning of sexual relationships and adds greater value to them. This connection helps individuals understand each other better and meet their emotional needs. Stoics state that this type of connection is the key to lasting happiness in human relationships. Stoic philosophy teaches ways to establish an emotional connection in sexual relationships. These methods include developing virtues such as patience, understanding, and empathy. Strengthening emotional bonds contributes to a deeper and more satisfying relationship. The strength of the emotional connection ensures that sexual relationships are healthy and sustainable. This bond increases mutual respect and love between couples, allowing the relationship to rise to a more meaningful level. A Stoic approach helps preserve and develop this bond, so that sexual relations become a source of not only physical but also emotional satisfaction. 6. The importance of knowing limits when meeting sexual needs. Meeting sexual needs is a natural desire of humans. However, knowing the limits when meeting these needs is the key to a balanced and healthy life. Stoics emphasize the importance of avoiding extremes and meeting needs in moderation. Knowing the limits in sexuality is one of the basic ways to maintain both physical and mental health. Knowing the limits begins with a person recognizing their own needs and knowing how to meet these needs. Sexual desires, if left unchecked, can lead to imbalances and even harmful consequences in the individual's life. Therefore, it is extremely important to be conscious and not to exceed the limits when meeting sexual needs. Stoics argue that knowing the limits in sexuality helps the individual maintain their freedom and inner peace. These boundaries ensure that sexual desires are controlled and that these desires do not harm the individual's life. A balanced approach satisfies sexual needs while also improving the individual's overall quality of life. Knowing the limits when satisfying sexual desires is critical not only for individual health, but also for the health of relationships. This awareness helps the individual recognize both their own limits and the limits of their partner and establish a balance within these limits. Stoic philosophy offers ways to find and maintain this balance, allowing us to live a more satisfying and balanced life. 7. The art of living sexual needs and desires in a balanced way. Sexual needs and desires are an integral part of human nature and are important elements to consider in order to achieve balance in various areas of life. However, how we live these desires and needs greatly affects our quality of life and inner peace. While Stoics accept sexuality as a natural aspect of life, they emphasize the importance of consciously balancing and managing these desires. Balance stands on a fine line between satisfying sexual desires and suppressing them. Sexuality is a tool that can deepen the relationship between an individual and their partner. However, this deepening is only possible when a conscious and balanced approach is adopted. Stoic philosophy teaches us how to find this balance, allowing us to see sexuality as a source of both physical and spiritual satisfaction. Satisfaction of sexual desires should not only be a physical need, but should also contribute to mental and spiritual development. This requires approaching sexuality with consciousness and awareness. Stoics believe that managing sexual desires and needs correctly will create greater balance and peace in the individual's inner world. This balance is reflected in other areas of the individual's life, thus improving the overall quality of life. Finding balance while experiencing sexual desires also strengthens the person's self-esteem and empathy for others. This process leads to evaluating sexuality as a meaningful part of life, rather than just seeing it as a need. This evaluation goes beyond satisfying sexual needs, deepening and strengthening the person's bond with themselves and their partner. The Stoic approach emphasizes the importance of finding balance while managing sexual desires and offers ways to maintain this balance. This helps the individual find a more fulfilling and meaningful path in both his or her life and relationships. 8. Stoic ways to integrate sexual energy into your life. Sexual energy is one of the most powerful and creative potentials of a person. When used correctly, this energy can be used not only for sexual satisfaction, but also to achieve success and balance in many areas of life. The Stoics teach ways to integrate sexual energy into all areas of life so that we can use this powerful energy more consciously and constructively. Sexual energy can be considered the driving force of life. However, when this energy is left uncontrolled or misdirected, it can disrupt an individual's balance. Therefore, the Stoic philosophy guides us on how we can direct this energy and use it for higher purposes. Being aware of sexual energy goes beyond seeing it as just a physical need and helps us learn to use this energy for more meaningful goals in life. Integrating this energy increases a person's quality of life and inner peace. The Stoics argue that this process contributes to the individual's spiritual development and mental balance. Directing sexual energy correctly allows the individual to find balance and satisfaction not only in their sexual life but also in their general life. Integrating sexual energy into your life is not only a means of individual satisfaction, it is also a way to find greater meaning and purpose in life. When used consciously, this energy deepens and strengthens the individual's relationships with themselves and their surroundings. This leads to greater success and a deeper sense of satisfaction in both their personal and professional lives. Stoic philosophy offers ways to control sexual energy and use it as a constructive force in life. This approach helps the individual both find their own inner balance and integrate this balance into other areas of life. Thus, sexual energy ceases to be just a means of satisfaction and becomes a force that serves a greater purpose in life. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Share your comments with us below, we would love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to be informed about such content. We can't wait to see you in the next video.